evening 0. It's not really evening 1 yet. Shot the bow. I can hit a target at 50 yards. So now we're out scouting, looking for mule deers to shoot. Dusto's dog is helping us.
His name is Matthews.
His name is Matthews tonight. So it's pretty sweet out here. There's deer everywhere. You can pretty much just shoot an arrow and you're bound to hit one. So it's good for me. It's a target-rich environment.
Well, we've seen several shooter deer. We're not going to be hunting anywhere near here tomorrow.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Get the blood boiling.
You gotta get out. You got to see them. Figure out what Justin's standards are.
Standards are just limitations.
But how about that big boy right there? Jay-Z and I are out trying to find a big mule deer buck for him to shoot. We found several deer, several bucks, just not the one we want yet. So we're gonna cruise around here a little bit. We're just kind of glassing in all these draws and all these big flats where they come out and feed in the evening and then they'll go bed. So the plan is to find one, watch it bed or find it bedded, and then sneak up and run a broadhead through it. So anyway, we're gonna cruise on down the road before they lay down for the day, and we'll be back shortly.
He's not a bad deer, but I don't know if he's the one we're looking for yet. It's pretty cool to see a nice velvet buck down here in this bottom. Probably keep looking around and see what else we can find, but it's not a bad deer. Kind of want to shoot him. We've acquired our first target on day 1. We actually, Dustin spotted this nice buck. He's about 600 yards out, and he worked his way up this little cut and bedded down right at the top. The wind's in our favor, so I don't know. We're gonna give it a try. I got DeCruz hand-me-down camo because my luggage didn't show up. I showered this morning using Suave shower gel, so we'll see if we can't kill something. Let's do it. Let's go. Jay-Z's first spot and stalk mule deer. Well, I could have let an arrow fly, but he's just a little bit too quartered away. I mean, he was quartered harder than I thought he would be when we got up here, so I elected not to pass, or I elected to pass, not to shoot. First day, got a few days left. No use making a bad shot on an animal, trying to force something on the first morning, but dude, that was awesome. You know, Todd, after that first encounter, you know, we started getting later on into the hunt, you know, day 2, day 3, going into day 4, you know, really start second guessing that decision to pass that deer. Even though I know it was the right decision, you know, and we were just talking about this, you go on these hunts sometimes and you've got a limited amount of time. So you want to make the most of it. You're kind of putting this pressure on yourself that, you know, when you get a shot, you want to take it. But I'm telling you guys, if it's not right, I mean, talk about a way to just ruin your entire trip if something does go wrong.
Whole season. I mean,
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, your whole season.
Right. I mean, you know, Justin, you're right. I mean, those pressures are real, and whether they're pressures of it's the first day, do I take the shot? But there were other factors that were going on that you talked about too when you see the footage. I mean, it was very windy. I mean, you even said for yourself. I mean, you were at full draw, and you just, I mean, you know, when you're at full draw, right, when it's on versus when you feel that wind drift going on, you're just not sure to pull that arrow off.
It was windy, the angle just wasn't right. I mean, he was quartering away, but pretty hard. And, you know, maybe at 20 to 30 yards, that's a shot, you know, you're confident you can get it in there. But at 50, it's like, man, if anything goes wrong, if you're, you know, a little bit too far forward and you put it through his shoulder and brisket, I mean, that's just bad news. So it was a hard thing to do. I mean, when you're at full draw, I mean, you've traveled thousands of miles to get out there. You're at full draw, your pin's on the deer. You want to squeeze that trigger off, but I just, you know, I elected to pass. I did second guess myself a little bit later on in the trip.
Especially considering Justin hasn't had a deer now for a few years.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, that's the other thing. I mean, you talk about 3 years of not, you know, having shot a deer, but I mean, I think it's made me even more cautious of the decisions that I'm making, just to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. So ultimately it ended up being the right thing. It was a difficult decision to pass, but sometimes it's the right thing to do.
And listen, and not to drag this out any further, but you know, one of the things that we decided to do also on Facebook too, for the next couple of weeks, is we're going to be posting photos of bucks that we've had encounters with in the show over the last couple of years. And we basically put these photos up in different situations for you to be able to comment. Would you take that shot? Would you not take that shot? Or what would you do?
Right.
And those photos are going to be posted, you know, periodically, you know, as all our seasons are beginning to start. And you know what? It's just a good thing to give you that chance to think about, you know, what would I do? Because man, those decisions are critical. And one thing for sure, once you let that arrow go, you can't take it back.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes people let buck fever get the best of them in those situations and let an arrow fly when they shouldn't. So kind of good practice for everybody out there to have that situation in mind before you get in the woods. But for now, let's get back to the hunt. Mule deer 1, JZ and Dusto 0. Had him at 50, just didn't have the right angle. So let's go find another one. Let's do it again. It's the great part about spot and stalk. Just go find another one. Well, we're on stalk number 2 for today. The difference is that this time we have no idea if there's actually a deer where we're stalking to. Dustin saw a good buck bedded over here the other day, so we're just kind of going for broke. See if he's bedded in the same spot again. Spotted a mega giant. At least what looks like a mega giant to me. He's pretty close to the property line over here, so Dustin's gonna pull out the GPS and figure out if he's on our side or he's on the neighbor's side, and then we'll figure out what to do. But he's 160 all day. Beautiful buck. And he's still bedded down, so we'll see what happens. Well, bad news, guys. It's 130 yards to the tree where that deer's bedded down, and we're at the edge of our property. Private property on the other side we don't have permission on, so he's officially on the neighbor's land, so we can't shoot him. But he's nice. Man, it's too bad. Maybe tomorrow he'll be on our side of the fence. But rules are rules. Official day 2 update. Dustin and I are back in an area where we had seen a couple bucks yesterday in some of these cuts up here. We've been glassing, seen some does and little bucks in them, but we got one more spot we're going to go up here and check by a couple cottonwood trees and maybe see if there's anything bedded down in there. So we're going to bring the camera, bring the bow, just in case we encounter anything we want to shoot. From that hill behind us. We came down in this cut and we're working our way up. Try to glass this other side, so we're almost at the top. Hopefully when we get there we'll see something worth the effort. find him after he went over the hill. This terrain is deceiving. You get over there and you think you know where they went and they're gone, but we did manage to stalk up on one nice buck, younger deer, not a deer I wanted to shoot. It could have if I wanted to. It was a really neat encounter. We got really, really close to him, so came out and did a little scouting tonight, spotted a few bucks up in these hills. Maybe we'll have some better luck tomorrow. So day 2 over. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning for day 3. Alright guys, we're going to make this quick. Day 3, September 3rd here in Wyoming, and Dustin spotted a pretty good 4x4 buck, bedded somewhere behind me. I don't know exactly where. Hopefully Dustin does. But I think we're going to drop down into one of these draws and sneak up there and see if we can't get a shot at him. So without further ado, let's go for our morning walk and get some exercise before it gets to be 100 degrees again. Let's go. Well, I'd say we're 0 for 2 on shooter buck stalks this morning. Not this morning, just this week. We came up over this hill looking for this velvet buck that we had spotted from way far away. And Dustin spotted this buck laying down in this little crease behind me. So we snuck all the way around. But when we got out here, I mean, there was just no good way to get at him. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's basically a bowl. It's a horseshoe-shaped bowl with a big bed in it. He was probably laying right there. But there's no way to sneak up on this deer. Unfortunately, the wind is blowing pretty much. If we were to sneak up over the top of this hill, the wind's blowing right into him. And then to add insult to injury, the deer we actually came over here looking for popped up on this other cut behind us, and he ran up over the hill. So we had 2 shooters over here. But it is what it is, I guess. We'll just keep trying. Maybe we'll get one later. Change of plans for tonight. The mule deer action's been pretty slow in the evenings. So last night, Dustin and I glassed this alfalfa field, and there was 50, 60 deer out here, including a couple really nice bucks. So we just trailered in a redneck hay bale blind, put it out here in this field. We probably ran 20, 30 deer out of the field when we did it, including a definite shooter buck. I mean, 140, 150, all day long. Beautiful deer. End of day 3. We saw an absolute pile of deer tonight. Probably over 100. Right at the last minute, we had a couple big shooters come out in the field behind us, but nothing close enough or light enough. But at this rate, we'll be back tomorrow night to try it again. Alright, good morning guys. It is day 4 here in Wyoming, September 4th. Dustin and I are back out at the spot where we unsuccessfully stalked up on 2 smaller bucks yesterday afternoon or late morning. So we're back at the spot and stalk for muleys. Dustin's got the spotting scope out. He's spotted a pretty good buck out, just feeding around. So we're trying to figure out if we're going to wait for him to bed down and go after him, or try to go look for some other deer. So it's a beautiful morning. It's in the 50s. It's not going to be quite so hot today, thankfully. They're calling for like 80, 82 today, which is much better than the 97 we've had. So I'm going to chase some muleys in the morning. If nothing pans out, we're going to go back in the hay bale blind this afternoon and try to kill us a big whitetail.
So the question is, where we need to go? The road pretty much goes by that deer. He's obviously not going to stand there if we try to drive by. So the question is, do we drive by and go back to where we wanted to go? Or do we wait for him to get out of sight and then go from there? So,
Here's what I was told one time by a man who may or may not be very wise. Never leave deer to find deer.
fair enough. Then that there, folks, is our decision.
So we're officially geared up. We're ready to head out. The biggest buck that Dustin saw, we think, is kind of over this rise and to the left. So we're going to sneak down there, see if we can spot him. He's probably not bedded yet, but we want to try to find out where he's bedding at and then put a stalk on him. So let's go. Found the buck that we were looking for. He's probably 600-700 yards up here. He's actually just met up with another buck, a little bit smaller one, but they're just feeding on this hill back up, I guess it'd be to the south of where we're at right now. So we're just gonna kind of wait it out, and once they drop over the next hill, we'll advance forward, see if we can't just kind of keep following them until they bed down, figure out where they're at, and then come up with a plan for stalking them. Know what to say. We've been watching this buck since daylight this morning. It's probably noon. I mean, I'm talking 6 hours we've been watching this deer. He was feeding up here. He came down, he bedded in this bottom. We snuck all the way around. Freaking Dustin, dude. This guy's a machine when it comes to stalking mule deer. I mean, he found him bedded on this little hillside right here. We just had the perfect plan. We snuck right up here. We used this rock as a shield. I was able to squeak just far enough over. He never even saw us, gave me time to settle my pin. It was a touch left, but he was quartering kind of away from us. I saw the exit when he ran by here. It looks good. I can't imagine he's gonna go very far. Oh my God, that was awesome. This is like our 8th stalk, it feels like. 6 hours of chasing that deer.
There's blood on the sagebrush right there.
There. Yeah, we've been down this. That's pretty good blood right there. There's blood on both sides. See
oh, yeah.
Blood there in here.
Yep. He looked like he was getting a little quick-footed when he went out of sight back there.
There's blood.
Oh yeah, dude, look.
Yeah, he's pumping right away. I thought when he got around that corner, I saw the arrow fall out of him. There's the rock right there that we snuck up behind. Never knew we were there, man. He was looking like here to the left.
Yeah.
And I'm just spacing out in here. That's pretty good blood. Smells like deer blood. Spitfire Max. Freaking love this broadhead.
Yeah.
Engine 3/4, 3-blade. Puts a hole in them. Or he jumped or what?
Holy crap.
I told ya.
The streak is over.
Streak ends. Finally. That is a great feeling. Full velvet muley. Man, that's what I came here for. Thank you, Dustin, man. Definitely would not have happened without you, man. Oh, he is a stud.
He is a beast.
Well, guys, Dustin's not here. He ran back to the truck to actually drive the truck up here and get as close as we can to pack this guy out. But man, I just can't tell you how good this feels. I mean, the last 3 years, as you know, those of you who watch the show are aware, have been a struggle for me. Just haven't been able to get it done. And came out here to Wyoming with Dustin to chase velvet muleys. And I tell you what, that very first morning, we stocked up on a real nice buck, and I passed a shot at 52 yards. He was quartering away a little too hard, and I just didn't feel comfortable. You know, for a Midwest guy like me, I've never shot a deer further than 40 yards. I mean, practice at 50 and 60, but shooting that far at an animal is another story. So I was a little concerned. I mean, I knew we were going to be 48 yards from this deer, so I dialed the HHA into 50 and popped over that hill. And luckily, he was not looking at us. Gave me some time to settle my pin. I hit him a touch back, probably about maybe 6 inches back from where I was aiming. But at the angle, because he was slightly quartering away, it came out in about dead center of his body right here, and he only made it maybe, I'd say 200 yards he ran. And then I don't know if he jumped over this cliff or what, but man, I can't say thank you enough to Dustin for this hunt. I mean, it's been incredible. I mean, the guy has worked his tail off to try and get me on deer. We've been on a lot of stalks. Guys, it's only in the 80s today, but it's been high 90s the last couple days. Not a cloud in the sky, not a tree to hide behind. I mean, this is some tough hunting, and rightfully so. I mean, these deer bury themselves up into these cut banks, these kind of just washouts, and get in the shade, and they're hard to get on. But man, I tell you what, Dustin stuck with it, and in the end, you know, day 4, it's a 5-day hunt. I leave on Sunday to go home and see the family, but I gotta tell you, this is definitely one of the highlights of my hunting career thus far. So thanks again to Dustin, man. He busted his butt for me on this hunt, so I owe you one, buddy. Maybe I'll try to get you on a good whitetail out in Illinois one of these days. So we're gonna get this guy cleaned up, load it in the truck, get out of here, maybe go kill some whitetails. So from northern Wyoming, Justin Czar, over and out, bow hunt or die.